My grandmother always stuck cloves into an onion, and I was surprised when I found out why. While it may sound unusual, this method has been used for generations and has many practical benefits. Onions have naturally acidic properties that help release minerals from cloves. As a result, dishes made with such an onion can contain more easily absorbable iron, making it a great support in fighting anemia. Simply insert cloves into a whole onion and leave it for a few hours or overnight to allow the compounds to be released. After that, remove the cloves and use the onion in soups, sauces, or other dishes. But that's not the only reason to do this. Cloves and onions together create a strong, natural barrier against pests. The essential oils and sulfur compounds they release effectively repel flies, mosquitoes, and other insects. You can place a clove-studded onion around plants or in your home to keep pesky bugs away. Additionally, inserting cloves into an onion slows down its sprouting, keeping it fresh for longer. This is a great way to store onions, especially if you buy them in bulk. It's a simple yet effective trick to boost the nutritional value of your meals while also protecting your home and garden. Take 1 onion and a jar lid. A friend from China taught me this trick, and what you can do with them is amazing. Choose large, nice onions. Peel them if needed and cut off the stem ends. Clean the roots but don't cut off too much. Place the prepared onion on the jar lid. Cut it in half. The lid will prevent you from cutting all the way through. Now, slice it again crosswise and continue cutting as shown in the video. This way, you'll slice it into many parts, but the onion won't fall apart. It will look like a flower. Do the same with the other onions, exactly as with the first one. Take a large bowl and fill it with water. Soak the sliced onions in the water for 1 hour, then dry them. In a separate bowl, crack 2 eggs and whisk them into a smooth mixture. Add 100 milliliters of milk and whisk again. In another dish, prepare flour. Add salt, pepper, and sweet paprika, mixing them well into the flour. Now take the first onion. It should be fairly dry by now. Dip it in the egg mixture thoroughly, especially in the cuts. Then coat the onion in the flour mixture, making sure it's well covered. Heat oil in a pot. Place the onion in the oil and fry it until golden brown. Turn it over to fry the other side well. Once done, place it on a plate. Serve with tomato sauce. Simply pull apart individual petals of the onion and enjoy their unique flavor. You've never had zucchini prepared like this before. It's delicious and very juicy. Start by taking 2 fresh zucchinis and washing them thoroughly. Then, pat them dry. Use a fork to create decorative lines on the zucchini by pressing the fork into the skin and dragging it down, adding an artistic touch to the dish. Slice them and neatly arrange them on a cutting board. Generously season both sides with salt and pepper. In a medium bowl, crack 3 eggs and whisk them lightly. Then, add a pinch of salt, pepper, paprika, and basil. To the egg mixture, add 3 tablespoons of potato starch and 4 tablespoons of sour cream. Whisk vigorously until you have a smooth, creamy batter. Preheat the oven to 180 degrees Celsius. Prepare a baking tray lined with parchment paper. Dip each zucchini slice first in flour, then in the egg batter, and place them on the baking tray. Bake the slices in the oven for 20 minutes until they become golden and crispy. Meanwhile, dice a ripe tomato and place it in a bowl. After the initial baking time, take the tray out of the oven and top each zucchini slice with diced tomatoes and your favorite shredded cheese. Put the tray back in the oven for an additional 10 minutes, allowing the cheese to melt and the flavors to blend beautifully. Once removed, the zucchini is ready to serve. It's delicious, and the toppings enhance its flavor. It works perfectly as a main dish or a snack. This method will ensure that your cauliflower isn't bitter. I'll share a way to make cauliflower perfect and avoid any unpleasant smell while cooking. First, remove the leaves. Then, divide the cauliflower into smaller pieces. Take a bowl and fill it with water. Thoroughly wash all the cauliflower pieces in the bowl. Fill a pot with water and add a teaspoon of sugar. This will keep the cauliflower snow white and eliminate any bad odors during cooking. Next, put the cauliflower into the pot and cook it for 8 minutes. The sugar and cooking time are key to ensuring the cauliflower isn't overcooked or too hard. After 8 minutes, the cauliflower is ready. Turn off the pot and drain the cauliflower using a strainer. Once it cools slightly, it's ready to eat. Serve it with green parsley. It's a delicious addition to any meal. This trick is as old as the first stockings. You just need to take an onion and put it into the stocking. Tie a knot and add the next onions one by one. Separate each with a knot. Now hang them up in your kitchen and cut off only the onion you want to use. Onions tend to rot and contaminate other vegetables. Storing them this way prevents that problem. Use tape to keep tomatoes fresh for longer. Tape protects them from spoiling. The spot where the tomato was separated from the stem is more vulnerable to bacteria and moisture, which can speed up the rotting process. By covering this spot with tape, you create a barrier that keeps harmful elements out and extends the freshness of the tomato. Place a piece of celery in the bag with your toast bread, and you'll notice and taste the difference. Toast bread spoils quickly after opening, but if you add a bit of celery, you'll save the whole loaf. Celery releases moisture that prevents the bread from drying out and protects it from mold. Potatoes and apples are a great combination. You just need to place 2 large apples in the basket with your potatoes and cover them with a kitchen towel. The gas released by the apples prevents the potatoes from sprouting. With this method, your potatoes will stay fresh and good for longer. Stuff your favorite fillings into potato cubes. You've never tasted anything like this before. Start by boiling about 4 medium potatoes. While they're still hot and soft, add garlic, fresh thyme, a pinch of salt, and a generous amount of butter. Use a masher to blend the potatoes until smooth. Now, take slices of ham and cheese, layering them alternately to create a delicious stack. Once you have your ham and cheese stack, cut it into even cubes. Each of these cubes will form the heart of your potato cubes. Take a small handful of mashed potatoes and flatten it in your hand. Place a ham and cheese cube in the center, then wrap the potatoes around it, forming a smooth ball. The goal is to completely encase the ham and cheese in the mashed potatoes, creating a larger cube. Repeat this process until all the cubes are covered. Next, prepare 3 bowls, one with flour, one with beaten eggs, and one with breadcrumbs. Coat each potato ball first in flour, then dip it in the egg, and finally roll it in breadcrumbs. This coating will give them a crispy, golden surface. Heat a generous amount of oil in a pan over medium heat. When the oil is hot, carefully place the potato balls into the pan. Fry them until they're golden brown on all sides, turning gently to ensure even cooking. Once ready, serve them with your favorite sauce. Potato cubes are perfect as a meal or a snack. I add 1 teaspoon to the boiling broad beans. Thanks to this detail, it does not cause bloating. There is a way that will allow you to enjoy the delicious taste of broad beans without being subjected to troublesome and embarrassing bloating. Prepare broad beans for cooking as before. That is, rinse them in cold water. Put it in boiling water like this. Boil the broad beans for no longer than 30 minutes. It is then ready for consumption. Its skin will become wrinkled. Now pay attention. After 3 minutes of boiling, throw a tablespoon of salt into it. Then add a tablespoon of sugar. The next ingredient is dill. The secret ingredient to add last is cumin. Add a tablespoon of it. It is the cumin and dill that is the whole secret of not bloating broad beans. It is the addition of cumin to the pot of boiling broad beans that eases digestive disorders, stimulates the secretion of enzymes by the pancreas, and makes broad beans easily digestible and gentle on the stomach. On the other hand, if you add a handful of fresh dill, the broad beans will have a pleasant aroma, and unpleasant discomfort should not occur. Broad beans are very healthy, so it is not worth giving up eating them. The season for broad beans is short, from June to August. It is worth enjoying its taste.